One of the most popular geckos in the world is the giant day gecko. Today I'm going to show you guys 6 different species of small day geckos. 3 you might have heard of and 3 you might have not heard of. So guys, what I have in here are the peacock day geckos of Madagascar. These guys are called Phelsuma quadriocellata. They're known for those dots, those fake eyes they have on their sides. These guys get some nice green coloration in their body. They actually have a lot of variation of red too. This male right here in the back, he has a lot of red coloration. The males usually have more red than the females. Absolute gorgeous gecko. These guys only get about 6 inches. One of the distinguishing features these guys have is actually that black spot they have on each side. So what I got in this cage is called the gold dust day gecko, Phelsuma latiquata. These guys are known for having that bright green coloration mixed with some beautiful gold colors, actually where they get their name, and their famous red teardrops. They usually have about like 3 red teardrops. Males have it way more pronounced than females, way brighter, and they also get bigger, but they're also gonna max out about 6 inches. There's actually some invasive populations of these guys in Hawaii. You've probably seen the videos of people in Hawaii having a great time and then a little day gecko comes and eats some little fruit or nectar that they have available. That's actually these guys. There's 2 different forms of gold dust day geckos that I'm actually aware of at the moment. The common one with the gold coloration and the red teardrops, and there's actually called a blue variation that does come from Hawaii, and I'll show you guys that next. So this is the second form, the Hawaiian blue gold dust day gecko. Instead of having those red teardrops that they normally have, they actually lack it completely, and instead they'll get a lot of blues, way more blues than the normal ones from Madagascar. They still get the same size, same care, same everything. The only difference is their coloration. What we have in this cage is the line day gecko, Phelsuma lineata. They are very similar to the peacock day gecko in appearance. The major difference being instead of a black dot on their side, they actually have a black stripe going all the way down their side. They come from a similar region as the peacock day geckos in Madagascar, but they get about the same size, same exact care for all these day geckos. Now we're gonna start talking about some of the more uncommon small species of day geckos you might have never heard of. One of my favorites and one of the smaller ones, and honestly one of the more docile of these smaller day geckos, is the Robert Mertens day gecko, also known as Phelsuma Robert Mertens, named after the guy who described these geckos. The Robert Mertens day gecko actually come from another satellite island called Comoros. These guys are one of the smaller ones. They'll max out about 4, maybe 5 inches. The males get bigger than the females. These guys are gonna be like nice solid green coloration mixed in with some blues. They'll also have a very nice orange stripe going down from the middle of the back all the way down to about the tail. An interesting thing I noticed about these guys too is they're a very female heavy species. Out of the 20 plus that I have, I only have about 2 males. They're actually one of my favorite ones just because of this. I can handle them, kind of. Better than other species. So what I got in this case is actually my favorite of all the small day gecko species. Phelsuma seperiana, or blue-tailed day gecko. In my opinion, they're one of the most gorgeous day geckos out there. They're not as fast as like the ornates or the giants. They're a little bit calmer for the most part. And these guys actually don't come from the island of Madagascar. They come from a little satellite island. This is why I like them, man. They're just such a gorgeous animal. All these day geckos are very bold. That's one thing I love about all of them. Very bold animals, always out. Obviously, when you try to go in there and touch them, they're very shy. They'll run away. But super out there all the time. I can hand feed these guys a lot of times with the crested gecko diet or any of these nectars, but this one is my absolute favorite. And the last one of these guys is called the ornate day gecko, Phelsuma ornata. They're actually very similar in appearance to the seperiana or the blue-tailed day gecko. One of the major differences being is they have way more blue and white and gray colorations throughout their body versus the seperiana, which has more green colorations to it. Very similar day geckos. When they're actually born, it's very hard to tell which one's which, so that's why I do incubate them separately for that reason. So both the ornate day gecko and the blue-tailed day gecko come from the same satellite island of Madagascar called Mauritius. One of my favorite things about all these day geckos is they're very hardy geckos, very easy to take care of. They do come from a rainforest, so they do need higher humidity, about like 60 to 80%. They do need like a weak basking spot of about like 85. On some of the bigger species, you can get to 90, that's fine, as long as they have room to cool off. They do need UVB, but if you live in certain areas like I do, like in South Florida, you can actually keep them outdoors. So what we do here for the smaller species, this is about a 12 by 12 by 18 high. You can house, for these smaller species, you can keep up to a trio in this size of enclosure. So what I like to do, as I'll show you guys, is I like to have a substrate that drains, because out here in Florida, it rains a lot. So sometimes with like cypress mulch, stuff like that, it'll build up too much water, stay too wet. These guys do also like some dry periods. So what I like to use is like lava rocks, something that drains really well. And then in here, you could do plants like pothos, you could do bromeliads, you know, just a lot of different plants. You can play with it. I like the pothos a lot, and they grow very big. They'll lay on the leaves itself. And then you're gonna wanna have a lot of hides. These guys could do like cork rounds. As you can see here, we use a lot of bamboos because they're nice and hollow. They'll go in there, they'll sleep in there, they're staying there when it's too hot. They'll also lay their eggs in there as well. They'll glue their eggs onto the sides of these sticks. And yeah, very simple setup, very easy to take care of. As I mentioned, we like to feed them crested gecko diet because they do eat a lot of fruit and nectar in the wild. So we'll do like crested gecko diet every like other day. And then you could feed bugs like probably once or twice a week is what we kind of do. For the smaller day geckos, I like to do like 1/2-inch crickets. But yeah, very versatile, very easy, very gorgeous geckos. If you guys want a gecko that's very bold, that'll be out there. They're not the most handleable geckos, but they'll always be out. You'll always see them. They're very interactive, very inquisitive, very smart geckos. That's why they're honestly one of my favorite, if not my favorite, genus of geckos out there.
And now you know why day geckos are the best.